Sam Chan is a former pastor and university president, has been listed amongst the greatest leadership gurus in our world, and just an all-around great guy. He's written a great book called Cracking Your Church's Culture Code. We had the opportunity to partner with him a couple of years ago when this book was first released, and we just wanted to get the ideas back out in front of you. So Sam, welcome, and tell us a little bit about kind of how the whole idea for the Cracking Your Church's Culture Code came about.
Thank you so much, Greg, for this opportunity. Cracking Church's Culture Code came out of great frustration in my work. I'm a leadership consultant. I work with some of the largest churches and the mega church pastors and medium church pastors. And what would happen is I'd go into a church, Greg, and try to help the church the best I knew how. And the best laid plans would not achieve 100% goals. They would kind of meander about 75, 80%. And there was those missing link. I did not know what it was. Just frustrated because these churches, great leadership, great staff, finances are strong, facilities are great, attendance is high. But whenever I'd get to the senior pastor in his or her office, they'd always say the same thing: something is missing. And then one day the light bulb went off for me. What was happening was that everything was fine except the culture was not strong enough to sustain the transition, sustain the program, sustain the leadership. And so there's a constant churning, if you wish, that was going on inside the organization. So this book is written out of great frustration, but I believe it also sheds great light from a user's point of view. No philosophy in there, no great theoretical paradigms in there, but you'll find daily practical nuggets in there.
It's great. I know it's been a very important book as we've continued to work with churches and even within our own organization and understanding the importance of culture. One of the things that you articulate in the book are some keys to culture. I think there are 7. Why don't you share a couple of those with us this morning?
Okay, to make the book have some Velcro quality, so it would be stickable, I took the word C-U-L-T-U-R-E, the 7 alphabets, and gave each one of them a word. So C stands for control, U stands for understanding, L stands for leadership, T stands for trust, U stands for unafraid, R stands for responsive, E stands for execution. I can give you 3 seconds on each one very quickly. C stands for control. Who really is in control? Because it is not necessarily the person you think is in control. Sometimes the person 3 removed from the seat of power, so to speak, doesn't control. U stands for understanding. Do people really understand where you're going? Not just regurgitate the vision and mission, core values, but they really understand your destination. C-U. L stands for leadership. Are you discovering, developing, and deploying leaders? And what is your structure and systems and processes for that? C-U-L-T stands for trust. This, I believe, is the key. If there's one on which everything rises, it's on trust. Everything, as Stephen Covey Jr. tells us in his book title, everything runs at the speed of trust. C-U-L-T-U stands for unafraid. You have fear of culture of fear. If you have a culture of fear, there will not be creativity, no innovation. You want a fearless culture. R stands for responsive. After all is said and done, usually more is said than done. And we want people to be responsive. And E stands for execution. Are things getting done? Are things on track? Do people meet benchmarks as accountability? C-U-L-T-U-R-E. And that is the crux of there's a whole chapter in there on each one of those.
That's great. As you look at what it takes to have a healthy culture, also you talk a little bit in the book about some of the things that kill culture. Talk about a couple of those real quick.
Part of it has to do to understand that the leader, the senior pastor, creates that culture, but is sustained from the bottom. Created at the top, sustained from the bottom. And unless that happens, it will always become dysfunctional. The way I want to explain is if this is a plate, you go to a restaurant and you order a steak, and there's the plate, and on there is a filet mignon, a nice filet mignon done just like you wanted. There's a fillet, there's a steak, and sits on the plate. And you notice that somebody forgot to wash the plate. what happens to that wonderful sizzling fillet? It becomes devalued. You probably are not going to eat it. Nothing wrong with the fillet, is the plate. This is the vision, this is the culture. And that is why in my book I say a toxic culture will eat vision for lunch. If your plate is not clean, does not matter how your vision is. So people go to seminars, conferences, read books, and they try to download that onto their staff, on their volunteers, on their worker base. But if the culture is not healthy, it will be dysfunctional. It will not happen. So clean up the plate and then put the vision on it.
That's awesome. That's very good. Great insight. Anything else? Maybe one last thought on something you think is really important about this book that gives people another reason yet to pick it up?
What was intriguing for me in doing the research on this book, Greg, is I discovered that there are lots of books on organizational culture, but hardly any books on culture within a church. And this book simplifies that, demystifies it, gives you Velcro. Thousands of people have been helped. The other thing I do want to say is if you want to take a free culture survey, it's free. And here's the website for that, freeculturesurvey.com. That ought to be simple enough, freeculturesurvey.com. Up to 999 people can take that survey. Thousands of churches have taken that survey all over the world. And you will get responses back, confidential, just to you. That'll grade you on your 7th, CULTURE, and then you can move forward from there.
Awesome. Very good. So free culture, say one more time the web address.
freeculturesurvey.com.
Very good. And you can also want to be sure and pick up a copy of the book, Cracking Your Church's Culture Code. If you go out to leadnet.org and hit the resources link and books, you'll be able to find it there. It'll take you to a couple of places where you can purchase it. Thanks so much, Sam, for being with us today. And I hope many will grab a copy of your book and help either clean up their culture or sustain that culture if they've got a great thing going. I appreciate all the important work that you're doing with churches and in the kingdom. So thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg, and everything Leadership Network does as well.
Well, our pleasure. Take care. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.